resolutions will be given a little while later. At this time, we'd like to recognize our teachers. And if you don't feel like standing, it's okay to sit, just raise your hand. Mrs. Fannie Pulley Thompson and her guest, Ms. Carol Woods. Ms. Lillian H. Morgan and her daughter and son-in-law, Mr. and Mrs. Curtis Collins. Mrs. Teresa Powers DeShields and her daughter, Caller DeShields. And y'all just know I can't get up. Mrs. Carmelita Gandy, daughter-in-law of one of our homeroom teachers, Mrs. Susie Powers Gandy. Mrs. Evangeline H. Spillman. Mrs. Georgia P. Snodgrass, mother of one of our classmates, Reverend Horace Snodgrass. Mr. Mingo Clark and wife, Mrs. Lou Clark. Mr. Edwin S. Hill and Mrs. Zena Hill, who was not able to make it because of illness. Mr. Isaac Brooks and his wife, Mrs. Nancy Brooks. And at this time, I'd like for all of the classmates to stand and give your name only. Mrs. Mothers. Mrs. Roper. Mrs. Moselle Roper, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Classmates, stand, please, and give your name only.
My name is Edward Allen, and when I was in school with Edward Allen, I got to correct
And I'm Mary Thompson Patton. Thank you. My mom appeared to me this little thing that used to happen to me all the time. Miss Fearon, our homeroom teacher, would always say, Thompson, would you just sit down a minute and let Holler pray? And then she'd walk off and say, Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do with this child. She don't never stop talking. And I haven't stopped yet.